Slama, Game Director for Gotchi Guardians here with Devlog number 3, and joining me is Mr. NoFuturistic, a man at the heart of the Aavegotchi community. NoFuturistic, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, I'm NoFuturistic. I've been in the community for 2 years. I run the Music City GotchiGang YouTube channel. It's been going for 2 years. I'm a Aavegotchi DAO director, and I'm the partnership lead at Orium Network. So I do a lot.
Yeah, you're all over the place. I can relate. So it's nice to have you here. I'm always looking for new co-hosts for these little devlogs. Reach out to other people. Thanks for joining us. What made you want to come here? Did we hold a gun to your head, or?
Jesse held a Lickquidator to my head, and he was like, "You have to do this." No. I think it was Coder Danny reached out to me, and I was like, "Yeah, Slama, let's do this."
All right. Well, how much do you know about what's going on with Gotchi Guardians or anything going on there? Why don't you fill us in there?
I know some things about it. I know that it's under development. I know it's a tower defense game, and I've seen some of the devlogs, so I've seen some of the work in progress graphics. But outside of that, not much in terms of gameplay or anything like that. I know it's on Unity, so it's probably going to be browser based and mobile based. So that's great. Mobile is always fun because you get more users that way. But that's the extent of my knowledge, and that you're working on it. That's the other thing.
Right. Well, right now we've grown the team up to 5 people. So we've got a technical artist, a concept artist, a 3D modeler, and a programmer, and myself. So very, very, very small team. I think usually for this type of project, you want 4, 5, 6 times the number of people working for the ambitions we have. But we're making great progress. We started a couple months ago, and now we're here to share some of the progress that we're going with. I believe we've shared somewhere before this new Lickquidator design we were working on. We call him now the Fungi. He used to be called the Splitter. And the idea with him is that he actually is a bit of a pesky thing to kill because, he's going around grinding, looking for those resources, that alchemico, whatever, to transform. But when you kill him, he actually splits into 2 halves, and then you have to actually kill the other halves. And now we actually have managed to bring him in game. He's been modeled. He's been brought to life. Here there's little idle animations. On the left, we have the full fungi kind of hiding under his hat. Can't see his eyes, but they are there. And on the right are the 2 halves kind of independently animating their little idols. You can kind of see that we've been adding things like, they're leaning in to move and playing their little looping animation. The little guy tends to lean back. This guy's kind of floating. And when they die, the left one kind of quickly splits into 2, and the other one's kind of intro as separate entities and have their own little death animations when they die. We've also managed to bring in their own little custom attack animations. I don't know, with the mushroom feel on them, right? I thought it would be cool if they just like toxic gas as their attack. It just seemed right. And so far, these animations have been done as placeholders by me, so criticize them at your own risk. And I'm sure we'll polish them a bit more how we go. The Lickquidators are going to come out of a portal for all the players. And another thing we added in since the last dev update is they all have little intro animations, like the dire tiger kind of pops out of the portal, which is really kind of cool. We've actually integrated the mesh. I put in a little burnout animation on him, put in some VFX, have him slam into you. This is just to show off the animations. Usually they try to hit the Gotchi. We've also added in, new VFX and integrated the death. And since you'll be killing a lot of these things, I'm kind of playing with different ways to add some variety to the death. So for example, if he dies when he's moving, he'll actually do a different death animation, which is kind of cool. And also, since the last update, we've finally brought the liquor into the game. He's not fully functional, but he's
look at that.
Close enough, right? So here we have him idle. He'll randomly play a little idle breaker where he just kind of smiles and weaves if he's just standing there. Right, and he's got in like nice transitions into like he's moving. I was really inspired by. Can you guess where my inspiration for the animation came from for this guy?
I feel like that's like a Naruto, like arms behind the back and he's running at you kind of thing.
That's an interesting one. I actually was thinking of the Sentinels from the Matrix. You know how their tentacles kind of fly in the back. That's what I was kind of going for. And then we kind of have him when he's attacking, kind of bringing his arms out and kind of attacking a little bit like that. The thing that's not in for him yet is he has a special ability or will to go up and just lick the towers or the Gotchi to stun them. Because, I don't know about you, but if a giant robot came and a giant tongue came out of its mouth and it licked me like this, I think I would be at a loss for words, to say the least.
Yeah, it would not be good. I feel like this guy is really the fun guy with that attack.
So that's why I've codenamed him the Licker. He's definitely earned it. And, you know, just like the other guy, he has a death animation if he's standing. He has a different death animation if he's moving, which I think is really cool. And I thought it might be fun if, like, you know, rare, maybe 1 out of 10, maybe less chance that he does an even more extreme animation when he dies. Which is
a little confetti.
Confetti. You got to have the confetti, man. We need to keep this a little bit lighthearted. So, you know, we've been really hard at work trying to bring the characters in, kind of try to set the quality bars, try to figure out how to make them attack. There's still a lot of work left to kind of polish how they position themselves, how they attack, but I'm quite happy. The last demo was much less beautiful enemies than it is today.
Oh,
and it was
great,
one
man.
before. Now we have 3 in there. I'm not sure if I shared this before, but this is the second tower that we've designed. I'm calling him the brute force. The idea is that he's attacks very fast little projectiles, like a shotgun or a flat cannon, if you will, but just one after the other. The idea is he actually starts with only one arm, and as you upgrade him, the other arm can kind of grow, and then you can kind of end up with a choice of some kind. Do I go for more like double flak on you, or do I go for a bigger, you know, one big attack on the other arm, which has advantages and disadvantages, right? And even though he's currently in the game in a blockout stage, meaning the model is really basic, quickly done, we're actually really close to bringing him into the game, and I just kind of want to share the progress. Probably a couple of days after recording this, he'll be in the game, but you know, the show must go on, as they say, and I can't wait to see him. Our modeler code-named the big guy Kratos and the little guy Atreus. He tried to go for a little bit of fun there, and I actually have a little video for you of kind of how he builds. You'll see he just kind of builds with one arm. The projectiles come out, and then you can upgrade him, get a second arm, and if you notice, the little guy hides his head. You know, he's got to watch out, can't get hit by daddy, which I think is one of those fun little details that I love looking to find in time for and put into the game. If you pay attention later, you might see the ROFL kind of have little eyes pop out of the pond, open up, look at the leaf, go back in, and all that fun stuff. So one thing that's not here that will happen is the spikes on the brute force will actually change color as you upgrade it. So he'll follow that same ROFL pattern, which is really, really cool. So what do you think? What do you think of the brute force?
I love it, man. The one thing I noticed that I thought it was really cute is the papa with the arms and the range shots, the spikes looks kind of mean. Where the little pot looks kind of entertaining, sitting there just ducking under in the middle of a fight. It's kind of right there.
I keep saying little guy, big smile, big guy, frowny face. You know, like
that's funny. He's gone a little bit, like.
So that's really fun. I've also prepared for you a quick little demo of the new stuff. You can see a lot of things. You can see here the fungi kind of surviving. Until you upgrade him enough, the bottom half actually dies when he splits. So it's actually a stronger version, and you can see here the Licker is much harder to kill. much harder to kill. But you know, we can actually kind of do a quick match later. I mean, I think I showed you a little bit before. Maybe you can guide me and decide what to do. And hopefully in the near future we can all kind of play this demo in multiplayer. We're looking to kind of share it with more people and get some feedback soon, even though there is a ton of features and work missing in the game.
It looks great though. I love the animation that I just saw of the ROFLs being tossed, like the little lily pad thrown. That looked awesome.
Yeah, I love finding movement in the game. The trick is sometimes I go overboard. Like the fun guy's top half when he would die would play like a animation, and it was so distracting. It was hiding so much gameplay that I actually had to tone it down because it was hiding too many things.
So with the death animations, do you envision them like affecting the player? Like, is that like when that spinner explodes, does it hurt the Gotchi, or is it just an animation at this point?
That's a great question. Generally, no, because that's a bit too complicated. But the Dire Tire, although it's not in yet, one of the upgrades I want to do to it is that it straps a giant bomb to his non-face size, and when he dies, he actually explodes and deals AoE damage to all the Lickquidators and the Gotchi. Because like his theory is like he's just gonna get to you as fast as possible, and if you can't stop him, you know, he's gonna be the first one on the crime scene. And I'm just picturing like, 5 of those guys surrounding your Gotchi. And when you finally kill one, it still hurts you, but it also creates like a chain of explosions. So I like where your head's at. I definitely want to do that. I just don't think doing it for every character is necessary. And actually kind of steals.
It spin out, and I was like, when it spun out, I was like, oh yeah, if you got hit by that tire while it's spinning out, that's gonna hurt.
Right.
I like that. The bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not doing like real physics-based stuff, right? These are just cosmetic animations with the more combat core. And we're also working on the last tier 1 Lickquidator right now. Concept's almost finished. We wanted one that's a bit more ranged, attacking from far, which will require different solutions because he'll be able to just pellet the Gotchi before he can do much to him. And he's just gonna throw that bullet at you. I like the profile. I like if you see these tongues separately, it's because I like what makes a Lickquidator, right? Like how do you decide this is a Lickquidator and that's not? Okay, you have robot, you have square eyes, right? You need those square eyes, but what else? Like, and that line has been really tough. And I've decided, well, since their name has Lickquidator, it's like the tongue there. Even if there's only the liquor that's using it as an ability, we need to find a place to put either in the icon or in the lore or whatever, the fact that these guys have tongues. So yeah, that's one that we're currently working on and quite excited to see it. And you'll notice it's codenamed the ranged one right now. So, if anyone wants to kind of hit up an idea, suggestion on what we can name this little bastard, let me know. Maybe you'll get to name him accident. Luckily, I don't know. I just not accidentally. What would you name him? Do you have anything off the cuff? I'm curious.
I'm trying to think. He's tossing FOMO, right? So he might be he's like a hyped Lickquidator in that sense because he's tossing FOMO. But if he was tossing FUD, then my point of view would probably be a little different. Let me think, because I'm moving towards bullet or missile. So, but it's also like a licky. So in my brain, it's like mistletoe because you end up kissing somebody. There might be tongue involved, but that it's a Christmas thing. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't need to be FOMO, right? We put FOMO here because I was just kind of like thinking of what the upgrades could be, like some way to change it. And I was thinking, that like in that Looney Tunes cartoons, you had like the Wile E. Coyote was always having these Acme crates, and I'm like, this looks like it could be like a giant Acme bullet. This isn't Acme, it's got to be either FOMO or FUD or something, right? It doesn't have to be FOMO. That's my point.
Yeah, it could be FUD, it could be Keck, but I guess it comes down to the mechanic, right? It's a Lickquidator throwing a bullet, a projectile.
Right.
A project lick, I don't know.
See, it's hard to name these things, and I suck at naming stuff. I don't like naming things.
Well, you had the Dire Tire, I think that's a good name. And then you also mentioned Brute Force, right? That works perfectly. Do you have a name for the little pot? Oh, you did. You had the 2 names.
Yeah, but that's like, no one's ever going to see it, right? That's just...
Okay. So I guess, friends, if you're watching this in the future, leave your name suggestion in the comments so that...
Right? Of the YouTube video. Maybe I'll be reading them at the end, and who knows? Yeah. So the next thing that we can kind of do before we kind of close out, and then you can actually ask any question about the project as a whole, is we could actually play for a few minutes if you'd like, and just kind of go from there. So here we are at the start of the famous Prong Meadow. We've been working really hard to add in, these little fairies, the cubes are moving, the wind is shaking the trees, the mesh effects are kind of changing there. Holy crap, I have 20 seconds. All right, let's put a ROFL here. This is spending my gold to try to kind of build defenses. I'll build maybe a cactus here, another cactus here, and then just quickly, oh no, I can't afford it, a dire tire here. So why would I buy a dire tire? Well, now there'll be a dire tire for everyone, right? For the rest of the match, and I can go and I can upgrade it, make it stronger. And in exchange, my income went up. Now I'm going to get 96 gold after I finish killing everything. Whereas this guy who didn't upgrade, this AI, is only going to have 80 gold. And what you'll notice as you play the game is it's kind of designed to be like an arms race, where if you just only invest in towers, you won't have the income to buy the stronger version of the towers to be able to win the game, right? So now I have another 141. Let's put in that other guy. Let's get this ROFL going up, and now I'm kind of broke. So let's do this. Just press ready. Again, everything else is AI. You kind of see this guy's struggling. Let's see why he's struggling. Okay. He built all his defenses down here, and he's over here fighting, just kind of tanking all this stuff with that one little ROFL kind of trying to do it. Now the AI is just completely random, so there's not really a strategy behind it, but it kind of simulates what different players can be doing. You can see right now I've managed to stay at the top, and because I was the first one to kill all of my liquidators, I got bonus income and bonus bank. So that whole feature is kind of designed to bring in this kind of level of combat, this level of I care, and also to reward players a little bit for taking risks and focusing more on their defense. All right, let's see. I can't upgrade anything, but maybe I can get the second arm here, and let's do this. All right. I'm being very cowardly, but you can see here I'll probably be reworking the health bars a little bit to make them a bit more visual, but you can see they change colors when they get upgraded, and the same thing with the ROFLs. And you know, do you have a ROFL, sir?
I think I have a common ROFL. Yeah.
So you're not allowed to upgrade the tower past common.
Yeah, that's the NFT is token gated.
Right? No, that's not how this works. So we actually support all the way up to the godlike one. And the godlike ROFL is actually quite special. I can't afford it, but I want more money, so let's maybe make some more stuff. You can see 2 players have died actually at this point. Can't afford anything else. And I actually let you kind of visit the dead player. See here where he died, and those guys kind of stay there forever. Oh boy, okay. I'm doing too good here. The AI is just not getting there. It's a hell of a journey to try and figure out the right balance and everything to these mechanics and how other players are going to do it and how to do it. There's this kind of empty space here, you see. Eventually you'll be able to kind of buy a bridge that will unlock a new path for the enemies to kind of maybe bypass your defenses if you're over investing in one spot. But you know, right now, and sorry, if you buy that bridge, then it actually shows up for the other players. So you see this guy, he's really protecting here. So maybe I'll really focus on upgrading this guy and hope to kind of wrap around here and kind of do that. Oh, let's spend my money really quick. Let's get this cactus out.
Oh man, that was close.
Oh, these are getting a little harder to kill. Getting upgraded. And you actually have an ability here. I don't know if we discussed that before. We're going to allow players to bring in up to 3 abilities that they'll be able to upgrade as the match goes on. Oh no, this liquor, go away. No liquidity.
Yeah.
All clear, all clear.
Hey, your health bar's yellow.
Yeah.
Get down there.
All right, now we've got the pink ROFL, and finally, we implemented the green ROFL, the godlike with wings. What do you think adding a wing to a ROFL will affect gameplay? Would you wager?
I feel like it should. Like they should be able to like go up higher, or you know, sometimes you see wing attacks. Like think of Pokemon where they, like swing the wing and you get like those energy hits.
So actually, as you upgrade the ROFLs, they start to get more bounces.
Oh yeah, look at that.
To the point where I think at godlike they can bounce 8 times.
Oh wow.
But also because they have wings, they are allowed to bounce across the map. You see?
Oh wow, yeah.
Holy crap!
All clear.
I had a much more commanding lead than the AI, but now I've underinvested. Oh, where should I put my towers? Let's maybe. This seems to be under control with the golden ROFL, so let's just with the godlike ROFL. So let's just see if we can kind of course correct here. Maybe let's
6 seconds.
Yeah, I added in a ready button so you can kind of skip it, but now we've got oh boja. Okay, no, run away. Ah!
Run for your life.
All right. Oh no, there's my level 4 liquid fungi coming out. Look at them flying. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they got them. They got the liquor before they can reach me. And look at that. That AI is managing to hang in there just with random choice stuff. Does he have flying ROFLs? Look at that. He didn't even get a flying. How is that fair? I think if you have a flying ROFL. Now let's just do the ultimate end gamer and let's upgrade that liquor. And let's get this guy up and running.
So if you upgrade the liquor, that also upgrades your income that you would receive, right?
Exactly. So you can see now I'm at like 2,500 income. You can see I'm also upgrading and doing a lot more stuff. Eventually, There will be tier 2 and tier 3 towers that take advantage of this higher income. But you see, I can't make this ROFL any bigger, any stronger. And honestly, the ROFL against maybe a level 1 liquor can get some work done. But if the players end up getting more and more high-end liquors, the ROFL's just not going to be enough. Or at least that's the design goal. You can see the AI kind of did not survive my liquor upgrade, and I've won at this point with a pretty nice bank. Victory is mine, but that was a lot closer than I expected. And how embarrassing would it be to lose against my own AI in this quick demo I've made for you guys?
John Connor would be disappointed.
So, you know, this is a couple months work. You guys saw the demo in August where things were a little not as far in terms of progression. I hope it's a little bit heartwarming. Usually developers don't share what I'm sharing today, by the way. It's fear that people will judge work in progress stuff more harshly, or will get that wrong impression that, oh, they said they were going to do this and then they didn't do that. You know, why not? I'm a bit less shy in that regard.
It was great, man. Like, just looking at it, like just seeing the, you know, the progression of like just the concept to some light gameplay to like full matches, like even the little details. Like I was watching in the gameplay footage, the Gotchis during the match, I guess the different players, you could see them bouncing around and their effect kind of changing as they got closer to dying. And then eventually they're just laying on the floor because they're dead. Right. And, you know, it's just like a little sidebar, like that little attention to detail. And it's like that. It's beautiful. I like it.
So, I mean, that's all I have to show for today, but we have a bit of time if you'd like to ask some questions and share some thoughts from a community member perspective.
Yeah, I guess the first question, because we were talking about Unity earlier, it's going to be most likely browser based and then mobile. Will the mobile, like there's a game that I've been playing recently, it's called Boomland Hunters on Chain. It's another game it's a I don't know the style of game, but it's after Hunters, the game Hunters, where you're running around with this character and like beating up monsters. They have the app so that you can't directly download it from the App Store. It's kind of like Friendtech, where you download it from the browser to your phone and you can enable the app there, kind of getting around the App Store and its crypto restrictions. Do we see that, like, is that the route that Aavegotchi is going to take? Because I'm assuming that the game at some level will have an integration of NFTs or, you know, some form of currency of some sort. So like what are the plans for that? That might be, I don't know if that question makes much sense, but
no, it's an excellent question. It's hard to say for certain this early on what we'll ultimately do, right? Like the things I'm about to say, I might get crucified for, and we might have to change our mind. But like, I didn't join, you know, this Aavegotchi community and Pixelcraft to make an NFT game. But I also didn't join to make a non-NFT game, if you know what I'm saying. I want to make a cool game, right? I want to make something that's going to be really fun and people are going to have a lot of fun. They're going to try to stream it. They're going to try to go for those wow moments. They're going to try to go ha 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 ha, right? Type of experiences. And in my mind, the NFT aspect of it should enhance the overall experience, but not detriment it. And when I think it's too strong of a requirement to play, like for example, you know, you need to own one of the few Aavegotchis to play, we're gonna run into some problems there. So right now, my current thinking is, let's put the Gotchis in the wearables and let's make them into 3D. Let's have that be like an optional way, and it's the only way for your Gotchi to stand out from other Gotchis. You want to play Gotchi Guardians and your Gotchi looks godlike, you need to either buy a Gotchi or rent one, you know, with lending, which is a really cool feature, or that kind of thing. But if you just don't mind playing with the naked Gotchi, kind of like the AI was doing, go ahead and play. And then, you know, in the spirit of trying to reach a bigger market and try and kind of like make a stand on our two legs without having to kind of flood the market with investments and stuff, whether it's an NFT or not, under the hood, I think things like custom Lickquidators, custom tower skins, custom map skins, and cosmetics like that are totally doable. And I think if we package it and present it the right way, we could actually end up on the proper app store. That's my wishful thinking. But I do sincerely believe that if the approach is done in the right way, where it's not required to have an NFT wallet plugged in. It's not required in any way. And then you could just kind of log in to some sort of account, either Pixelcraft or Aavegotchi or whatever that's kind of free, and then link your wallet and get all that extra access optionally. I have a feeling we can actually end up on the App Store properly. And when it comes to WebGL, a bit worried that with Unity and the scope of what we're doing, that WebGL won't actually work out so nicely, that we might do a proper standalone application that you have to download. But that's not 100% confirmed one or the other. But as you can see, like, the quality level of details and graphics is not small, and WebGL is great for smaller type games that you often see, but when you start scaling the assets and all that stuff to the level at which I'm dreaming, it might not just be feasible, but we'll see.
So we're thinking, like, if it was to go that route, I would need to download it to my PC or to like a Mac, right?
Yep, definitely support PC and Mac, but I don't see
Well,
that as a huge barrier to entry. Like,
no, not at all.
It's nice to have a browser and everything, and just log in and do it. That's if we could do that without it, you know, resulting in our development time being cut in half and shooting ourselves in the head, I would much prefer to do that. No, you know, second guessing that. But, you know, most games of this caliber, you have to download something, and I think people are okay with that, or hopefully are.
Well, it's an onboarding event, because what's good is, like, if you have a downloadable game, like I have a gaming PC that I use. I play a lot of browser-based stuff, but parallel, there are a couple games, Chronos also, that are on Elixir Launchpad. So it opens you up to have the game placed into launchpads that can then, like, people are safe, and if they're looking for new games, bam, they find it. And if there is a Web3 element, it doesn't have to be the end all and be all. Like with Elixir, you have your wallet. Like Chronos, you don't need the NFT to play. It's a free-to-play game, but the NFT will give you access to other game loops and stuff like that. So that stuff I love. If I have to download it, I got a whole computer that's sitting here doing. It's supposed to be a Bitcoin mining computer. It's waiting for video games, so like I'm ready.
It's ready to go. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think if you approach NFTs as more like an enhancement of the experience rather than a requirement, I think the possibilities are much more exciting. Because, like, my dream, I'm gonna regret saying this in an internet way that opens, is to have like a shit ton of people, like to the level of which Aavegotchi is not used to, playing Gotchi Guardians and kind of having this bigger sensation. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see what I achieve. Yeah,
it's in the best interest of the project, because if you think about like what Aavegotchi's, minus like the ones that have been murdered for rarity farming these last couple of years, there's 25,000 of them. So like 24,000, let's say. If a game, even like even a moderately successful game, 24,000 assets is nothing. So it's like
nothing.
The value there for people, you know, like if you onboard millions of people to play a game, there's a certain percentage that would be interested in these extra features. It's just like Starbucks. People are, you know, they don't need an NFT to get coffee, but they can get a cool little incentive on the side. And with Polygon, it makes it very seamless. So it's a great onboarding technique, and it will give us, I think it accrues value to the Gotchi.
Right. Well, I mean, I have my own Gotchi actually that has wearables and everything. Kind of has its logo.
Yeah, I see it here in the Discord. It's a biker. You're wearing the biker uniform with the pitchfork and the dragon horns.
He's got high spookiness, high aggressiveness. Like I picked him on stats like that. I actually even opened the portal myself, right? Like I bought an unopened, like you couldn't see what's inside portal, because I wanted like that authentic Aavegotchi experience. And while it was nice, it took me more hours than I'm proud to admit to figure out how to do everything to get to that stage. Right?
Yeah.
Like the Aave protocol got upgraded, so the site I was going to deposit the USDT to open the damn portal was the wrong version, and there's nothing to tell me that was the case. And I just, you know, every little thing you do, every wearable you buy, it's another transaction, it's another weight signal. And I'm sure like the more engaged parts of our community are fine with that, and that's cool. But when you're talking to a mass market, that's too many opportunities for people to leave. And we're not making a trading game where you have to go through all these wallet stuff. You just want people to have fun together, right? Like you care if your opponent is an AI or a player who has no caring of the NFT, or you just want to have a fun game, right?
I just want to have a fun game. I want to play and get my dopamine hit and then play the loop again. Like I love fast loop games. So it's just like it's addictive that and the trading aspect, that's cool, but I can also just do that on my own time because Web3 gaming versus NFT PFP flipping, those aren't the same things,
Nope.
We're here for the experience versus like for the potential speculative upside of it.
Absolutely. So, to me, I think keeping the Gotchi sacred as a real asset that kind of gives you a visual look advantage over everyone else, and potentially, or not potentially, definitely some sort of perk bonuses based off your trades that just gives you a little bit of a leg up against other players in the early game is awesome because, I'm looking to do sort of like a progression where, I said 9 Lickquidators, 9 towers. I don't want a new player to have to go like, okay, which of the 9 towers and Lickquidators do I buy? No, right? Like the new content kind of unlocks. Maybe you even upgrade permanently across match your towers and your Lickquidators. And, that kind of makes you stronger. And there's kind of a leaderboard. So the people with, all the awesome shit are fighting the other people that are really awesome shit. The new players with less stuff are playing with, and then everyone's having fun. So to me, that's like a proven model that if you have a good enough player base and it's done in the right way, really allows for that kind of thing to exist without it, really upsetting things.
Yeah, and it allows for content creation. I can tell you now, we're talking about like the NFT side of the game versus the game. I did thousands of hours of live streams last year, daily, doing channeling, going into the Gotchiverse, hitting up 200 Gotchis. Do you know how hard it is to stream that? It's the most boring thing in the world. And I'm just like trying to freestyle rap. I'm just talking to people, starting fights with other people in the community. It's like, let us do this bad thing where I play other, like there's some, Unity-based games that I play that I love. They're just quick loops and I can play them over and over again. You get a reaction out of me other than just, hey, I just made another dollar, emptying my reservoir. It's a different vibe. So it allows for organic content creation. And if it's fun, people will stream it and people will watch it. So it's like, for me as a content creator, it's very exciting.
Right. And, like I said before, 9, let's say I'm looking to launch with 9, but actually, if we succeed, we can always keep adding more. And the way to kind of contain the chaos is players would end up having to have like a loadout of the 5 Lickquidators and the 5 towers they're bringing into that match. So you can even have like, okay, I'm going to bring in the brute force and the ROFL. No, not the ROFL launcher. Replace that with this other one. And as we add more content, the players are bringing different strategies. As you saw, like the ROFL's really good at cleaning up fungi, but the brute force is better at killing one single dire tire that's flying by, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of looking for this, maybe not rock, paper, scissors, because that's very definitive, right? Mm-hmm. But sort of these strategical decisions on what each player is kind of bringing in, and as you play more, the variety is the spice of life,
Yeah, just balancing the gameplays to make sure that nothing is too OP, and that like it's a organic progression versus, like you said, having too many points where people are like, this is too complicated, I'm gonna walk away.
Right. So maybe we have time for one last question and then we can wrap this up.
I had a question. What was the question I just had? I think I completely forgot it.
I hate
what was it about? It was, I want to say something about the NFT side or dev side of it, but tournaments. Yes, that's the question I want to ask. So we've seen other communities, like as they bring out these kind of games, like Running Pops are doing an infinity running style game where they have a Bitcoin up for the season 2. Like the community that wins gets a Bitcoin. Do we see, because like Hunters on Chain also is another example where you can you're using your asset, but it gives you like little buffs. It gives you abilities in the game, but nothing too OP. But they run tournaments that are seasonal. Do we think or see in the future tournaments being run by, I guess, Pixelcraft or even maybe the DAO? As a DAO representative, I can always push for that. Tournaments that we could run for the game itself worldwide.
Yeah, I don't see why
with the prize, I guess, with the prize pool.
I don't see why that couldn't happen, but I think when and if it happens, it'll be probably more community driven, right? Like I don't see, mobile devices being happy to be used for that, if you know what I mean. Like but the game is built in such a way that, having, let's say yourself, just run your own server and validate the results and kind of do that is 100% possible. It's being built with Photon's new quantum engine for Unity, which is a fully deterministic simulation. So all the other players, it's all happening on your computer. You don't see it. That's why switching between players is very quick. I'm just changing what Unity is kind of basing it off of. And because it's so deterministic, you don't need dedicated servers. So if you were just to create like another player and log in as like, let's say a tournament validator, whose final results is God, let's call it, like the actual winner that protects against cheating 100%, right? You can't cheat past that. The whole game is built with just user inputs going across the internet. So actually the bandwidth needed to play the game is dirt cheap, almost nothing. And so it's entirely in the cards. We're built to be able to support that kind of stuff. But again, right now 5 people, maybe we'll be a couple more in the next few months. But, you know, tournaments and validations and, you know, I think in Might and Magic Duel of Champions, which was a card game I worked at Ubisoft like 12 years ago, we had these like Swiss tournaments where you could buy tickets for real money and kind of, you know, win progression based off that. People get angry and mean when there's even the slightest bug in that stuff, right? Like that mode had to be flawlessly executed on our side. So my only reaction to that is I don't want to have any responsibility for managing, you know, the emotions of people playing with money, if you know what I mean. So gamble at your own risk.
Yeah, I've hosted tournaments before, and I've had some good friends get very angry because the game itself was having issues. We were running like a third-party tournament. It's like I'm not the game dev. I can't fix it. They were angry, and it was like the prize was maybe $50. It wasn't like a lot of money, but people get worked up. But getting them worked up also, you know, like just generating that competition, especially in Web3 gaming, is very, I think, good as long as it doesn't get toxic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But again, you know, my dream is to have as stable a game as possible, right? I don't want the non-tournament version to be crashing and giving false results either. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. But I guess the point is that the second you start organizing that, right, you start being responsible for making sure that there's no cheating, that there's none of that stuff, and I'm not quite ready. Personally, I don't know what we'll end up doing as Pixelcraft. I personally don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. We've had mini game competitions where we thought we knew it was like a white hacker, this guy Klaus, who would hack the leaderboards and just always take the top spot. But he would talk to us. He was a student learning. He would talk to us in the Discord about how he hacked the leaderboard. So it was a whole thing about them trying to hack proof it. I think they eventually got it. But yeah, there's always going to be, especially if money's involved, there's always going to be something.
Yeah, but again, like I said, as long as you have the right configuration and the right version of the engine, you could rerun the entire game fully simulated and improve the result one way or the other. So it has its challenges, but we've definitely done steps to make that possible as easily as possible. So anyways, it was really nice talking to you, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for co-hosting with me. I hope you enjoyed this experience.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thank you for having me, man. And whenever you're around on Saturdays, I know it's early morning Saturday, but swing by the hangout. The Gotchi Gang would love to pick your mind, especially about all these little animations and just your experience in general.
Well, I'm there every now and then, right? The problem is for me, it's like 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and I'm usually with my family doing stuff on a Saturday, right? Mornings would be easier. I just get up early and participate, right? So I'm there when I can, basically. So again, thanks to everyone watching. Please leave comments and questions. I'll read them, and if there's a pattern emerging that I should change the volume of my mic or something, I'll try to take that into consideration in the future. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.